Hello, my name is Randy Lee. I'm a partner with the Bell Legal Group, and I've had the privilege of working with Ed Bell and the rest of the attorneys for about 18 months now. Yeah, I was born in a small town in Georgia, Sylvania, Georgia. At that time, we called it Sylvania, but it was actually Cooperville, Georgia, population of about 80. We moved from Cooperville to Brooklyn, New York when I was 5 years old, and I went to school through elementary school and high school in Brooklyn, New York, which is a unique experience after being born in a small town in Georgia. And went to Northwestern University, which is in Chicago, Illinois, for college. During that experience, I became interested in the practice of medicine. And it really was kind of rekindling my thoughts, because I actually was drawn towards medicine in large part because my mom had a child, a brother of mine who was younger than myself, who died of pneumonia when I was 6 years old. And that was a realization to me that healthcare was significant and that we were in a rural area, and frankly the reason he didn't survive was because he didn't have access to the antibiotics. But my time at Northwestern was interesting, learned a lot, rekindled my thoughts concerning going into medicine, and I wound up going to the University of Cincinnati for medical school. I initially had a residency after completing medical school in Cincinnati. My initial residency was in internal medicine, and that training was in fact at Northwestern University in Chicago again. During medical school, my way through medical school was paid for by the National Health Service Corps, so I had an obligation to serve in an underserved community 1 year for each year that my education was paid for by the government, and I had the opportunity or the options of working in Arizona on an Indian reservation, going to Alaska, or working in inner city Chicago. And I chose to work in the inner city Chicago to fulfill my National Health Service Corps obligation. And in retrospect, that was probably the most fun and most fulfilling time I had in the practice of medicine. I did that for a total of 4 years. After I completed that obligation, I chose to go back to training, and I trained in anesthesiology at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. And after completing that residency, I stayed on board at the University of North Carolina for a short period of time, and then took a job in Fayetteville, North Carolina, practicing as an anesthesiologist. And it was during that time frame when I was married, and we had our first of 2 children. I've learned a lot from the Marines we have the privilege of working with, developed relationships that frankly are beyond just attorney-client. Frankly, I consider quite a few of the folks I have the privilege of speaking with who shared a lot of details and a lot of emotions that I've learned to appreciate, and I consider them to be friends more so than clients.